Hey everyone, welcome to Tim's Vinyl Confessions and welcome back to another Night Ranger deep dive. Very pleased to bring you this one because this is actually the first time that this gentleman and I have spoken face to face, but we've talked on Facebook and on Messenger countless times. He appears in Sing Me Away, the Night Ranger album review. Mr. Bryan Foster. Bryan, how are you doing?
Doing excellent, Tim. How are you?
Doing very well. See, we both came dressed for the occasion. You've got your and the
Good,
band
yeah.
played on shirt. I've got my
And played on.
Fans in Motion
There
shirt
you go.
representing.
Very
Shout out
nice.
to Josh and the crew. And
Yep.
yeah, we're here. We're it's winding down. The deep dive is winding down. We're at 2017 now, and we're going to be talking about "Don't Let Up," Night Ranger's album from that year. Which do you have this on vinyl?
I do not.
I
I've been
don't
trying
either.
to get it. It's very expensive.
Yeah, it's definitely this one and High Road. I do not have.
Yeah.
And they're the one you go on Discogs and it's crazy prices
Yeah.
for them. And
I'm hoping that it gets a record store day release or
yeah, me too.
somebody else re-releases it, sometime to make it a little more affordable.
Put
But
put one of those gray market ones where you're not really sure if it's legit. Fool me, I don't care. Like I finally
right.
got that. You got a lot of Kiss stuff in the background. I finally bought a copy of Sonic Boom because it was $45, not $600 on Discogs. You know what I
I
mean?
won't tell you what I paid for a set of five of all the different colors of Sonic Boom. Well, it was
It's
actually about 4 years ago, so it wasn't as much as it is now, but it was still a hefty price.
it's a disease, folks. I would It's not
It
for the faint
is.
of heart, and
Yes,
I
it is.
wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, High Road and Don't Let Up are the two Night Ranger albums that I need on vinyl that
Yep.
exist.
Yep.
And the worst part about High Road is that I've told this story before. I had it in my hand in the
Oh,
record
really?
store when it was new, but it's one of those things. Do I buy this or do I buy two or three other things? You got to pick one. And it's hard to tell which ones are going to go out of print, and you end up paying, as my friend Mike Ladano likes to call it, the late tax. And in
Yes.
these cases, you pay the very late tax. So yeah, so we're here with our CD DVD versions from Frontiers Records. This this was the first Night Ranger album to feature Carrie Kelly because Joel
Yep.
Hoekstra had left at this point. And so we're going to talk about each of the tracks on it and see what we both think. We didn't talk beforehand what we think of this album, so this could be although memory serves, my memory is absolutely horrible. I can't remember if you were in this chapter or not.
I am
Um,
not
you are
actually,
not in
but
this. You know what? I like the fact that I was just trying to get folks that were in the book to do these deep dives
yep.
with me. I didn't even bother to see if they were in the chapters we were talking about. And it's kind of cool that a couple of times at least I've found people that I don't know what you think of this album. So, Don't Let Up starts off with Somehow, Some Way. What do you think about this song?
Just a great rockin' opener. I mean, just a great Jack vocal on this. Um, the chorus, a little poppy, but it works with that. I love the lyric, about LA is the place for song. She's tanning, having fun, and then get the mention of San Francisco, which I think there's probably like three songs in this album that mentions
Yeah,
Bay
yeah,
or San Francisco area.
yeah.
So that's always kind of a thing. But and then you got Kelly jumping in the vocals before the chorus. Talk about Carrie's being his this is the first time with Carrie in this on this album. They don't miss a beat with Carrie. I like Joel with the albums that he did, but I mean Carrie's Gibson. I love the sound of a Gibson guitar. I mean his Gibson guitar just plays well off of Brad's whammy and that, and just it's just a great song, great opener. Love the song.
It's I think it's a pretty typical Night Ranger opener. It's upbeat, it's positive, it's kind of anthemic, and um, yeah, I like this one. What I like it too because it's got a little bit of I get a little bit of a Journey feel
Yeah,
from it, especially with the
yeah,
oh whoa
absolutely.
whoa like in the chorus.
Yep.
It kind of reminds me of songs like "Be Good to Yourself" um,
Yeah, absolutely.
and so yeah, and you're right. I mean, yeah, Joel was great, and High Road and Somewhere in California were fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic returns to form for them. But they don't really lose a step here. I think I'm just going to say I think this is at least every bit as good as High Road. I think it's a pretty strong uh, album. There are a few songs, some songs I like more than others, but I think that you can usually always count on Night Ranger for a great opener, and that's what
Same
this
guy
was.
that's mixed it. I think his name's Anthony Falk or something like
Anthony
that.
Fox, yeah, yeah.
Oh, did I lose you?
No, I lost your picture there for a bit, but I can
Oh,
hear you. Okay.
okay.
Next up, running out of time. This was I can't remember if this was a single or not, but I think it did get played live some. Could be wrong about that.
I believe it did. Yeah. Never actually got to see it live, but looking back on it, I believe it did get playing on there. Um, look, another great song. I mean, to me, the vocal hooks on this, the "Run for Your Life" and the
Oh,
"Don't
yeah,
Look Around," just, I mean, just so
yeah,
catchy. It's just it just grabs you right there at that point.
yeah.
Um,
That section, and I talk about this in the book, that "Run for Your Life" section. There's something about that whole part that it doesn't remind me of any one Night Ranger song, but it sounds so vintage Night Ranger. There's just
yes,
something about it that's like, this is everything I love about this band is the kind of bridges that they write. This is it. And this it sounds like something that could have been off of Seven Wishes or Midnight Madness, but it doesn't. It's not like they just took an old song and rewrote it or rewrote the lyrics. It's just tapping into that classic Night Ranger sound, and that's the bridge we're going on about. The chorus is fantastic, and
yeah,
so it's just a great payoff, from the bridge. Yeah, good song.
absolutely. Yeah, and then the little breakdown towards the end, with the vocal and just the drums, and then you got a little piano in there from Carrie too. I mean, just another great song. Just it's just amazing that 35 years in and this band's you know putting out songs like this. It's incredible.
This is exactly why not just with the Night Ranger book, but also with the Kansas and the Sammy Hagar and um, with bands that are continually putting out new music and really good new music. And usually it's to on smaller labels. I really wanted to highlight the fact that, hey guys, there's a wealth of music out here that most people have probably never heard.
Yep,
And these latter day albums are worth checking out because
absolutely.
these guys, they play well together. You've got three-fifths of the classic lineup. You've got the two
Yep,
singers. You've got the main guitar player, and they always hire just the right people to not sit in to join the band. You get Eric Levy's firmly established this point, and then you've got Carrie Kelly coming in. So next up, very much a change in tempo with Truth, and this had a video too. What are your thoughts on this song?
it did. I love the video. Love the black and white and the performance video. That was great. Night Ranger does mid tempos better than anybody. Um, the lyrics in that. I mean, I first couple times usually lyrics don't really I don't pay attention to lyrics too much early on. It's about the tempo and the music. So Truth just nails that tempo in there, and then you kind of get into the lyrics and the seriousness of those lyrics just kind of adds to it.
Yeah.
I just the one thing I remember about this song is, you got the shirt on there, the Fans in Motion. I think when they kind of ranked these songs, they all three of them had them really low on the ranking on this album, which I found was kind of interesting because I think it's one of the top 3 or 4 songs on this album.
It's different. It's different for Night Ranger in that they usually don't do this sort of uh, downbeat kind of song, even though it's very classic Jack Blade storytelling in the lyrics,
Yeah,
and he sings them very clearly, and you kind of lock into what he's saying, and it's not a happy tale, but there is an element of hope to the chorus. I wouldn't want to listen to an album of songs like this. I think it would be kind of depressing, but I like the song, and I think it's well done. Yeah, it's probably not my favorite on the album, but I don't mind it. Next up is kind of unique, I think, in the Night Ranger catalog, and someone could correct me on this, but I think it's the first time that a song appeared on a live album before it appeared in the studio album. And that always reminds me of Rainbow because they did Kill the King on the On Stage album, and then it was on Long
On the
Live
next
Rock and
album.
Roll. But yeah, Day and Night. They premiered this on the 35 Night Chicago uh, CD DVD set, and
Yep.
it's pretty much intact here. They do add something to it. I like what they add to it. But anyway, what do you think of this one?
Um, another great song, really. Isn't this the longest song on the album? Or
Uh, but they don't have the track uh, links on the
it's over
back.
5 minutes, right?
It seems to me like it's a longer track. Yeah, they don't have the links of the tracks.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's if not the longest, it's one of the longest on the songs,
Yeah.
over 5 minutes, which is kind of rare for Night Ranger
Yeah.
songs too. But great. I mean, great Kelly vocal on this. It seems like there's multiple parts to this song, kind of
Yeah.
carry on. That breakdown kind of towards the end there, where you have Brad kind of just on the guitar a little bit, just kind of noodling, or those songs on there. Um, I think too. So I'm a big Cheap Trick fan, and I think towards the end of that song, when you got Kelly kind of not really screaming, but kind of raising up on there, just that day and night, and night and day reminds me of Robin Zander.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, when Robin gets to that half
Yep.
crazed, uh,
Yep.
I'm thinking of a song like Big Eyes or something where
Yeah.
he
Absolutely.
goes from he's like just singing melodically, and the next thing oh shoot, she's tight. Where turn on the camera, get ready for action.
Action.
Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's not a bad thing if it reminds you of Cheap Trick.
No, no, not at all. Not at all. But yeah, I think being that long, it didn't seem that long,
Doesn't
right?
feel like it doesn't feel
No.
like it wears out its welcome. No, and it's a fun song. I would I mean I love the fact that they did premiere it live, and it sounds like it's a song that would go over well in concert. That's I'm not going to get on the whole set list thing, but that's another thing. A lot of these songs in these latter day albums, they just sound like they're made for crowd participation. uh
Yeah. And
and
I really wish they would like play some more of these. Like, I know when the albums came out they did, but
yeah.
I saw them. It was it. It's been a year and a half ago, I guess, and I think I got a similar picture to what you put in the book there,
Oh
something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, they always have the same backdrop. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So a VIP thing, which is great, but um, I wish they would play some of these songs still. I mean, I get it, they got to play all the hits and that, and but when they're headlining stuff, I really wish they would add some of these later
And
songs.
and in my opinion, they should always, if at all possible, you should always have these CDs available at the merch booth.
Oh
Because
yeah,
because I'm thinking you'll get a lot of impulse buys.
yeah,
You get a lot of impulse buys. You get people that just never got to found them. These aren't CDs that you see in stores. And the Frontiers does a great job with the bands that they sign, but they're not going to get into Walmarts. You know what I mean? They're not
no,
going to get to where. So I think they should always have them available. And I would sooner, t-shirts, band shirts are so expensive. I would rather pay like,
$50 now,
yeah, I'd rather pay 25, $30 for a CD. I'll pay 40 if it's
right?
signed, whatever. All right, so enough about that. Let's move on. Let's move on to the title track. Now, I'm going to be honest, the title track is probably my least favorite song on this album. There's something about that chorus that has
Yeah,
just never clicked with me, and I don't know what it is.
it's extremely poppy. It just kind of loses it. I mean, I like the um, um, everything
The,
but the chorus.
yeah,
Actually, it's
yeah, and I know exactly what you mean. It's a good setup. I like the verses.
verses. Yes, yeah,
But
and the guitar
yeah,
solos are good.
yeah, the core. But I hate to say that because when you say you like everything but the chorus, you're kind of saying you just don't like the song because the chorus
Yeah,
is everything. The chorus is supposed to be
right.
the highlighter, right? And
Yeah, and that acapella part too just doesn't quite work.
this the hook line doesn't work for me. It's look, it's just our opinions, but another thing, and this is talked about in the chapter of this book, usually Night Ranger's title songs are among their best. When
Yes,
you think
absolutely.
about
Yep.
High Road and Seven Wishes and Big
Seven
Life
Wishes.
and Man in
Absolutely.
Motion,
Yep.
Neverland, like they're all pretty good songs in their own rights. This is
Yep.
just not up there with it. It's a weak, it just,
No, unfortunately.
yeah. And someone mentioned, and this might have been a good point. Maybe it goes on too long. Maybe
Yep.
they could have gotten in and out with that chorus, but I
This
don't
is
know.
another one that mentions San Francisco too. So
Yeah, yeah. So next up, yeah, actually, next up is another one of those. This is one of those Stonesy honky tonk songs. Won't be your fool again. That to me, there's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't sound like Night Ranger. And yeah, I've got more to say about that. What are your thoughts on this one?
yeah, I feel the same way. It's just musically it sounds good. I mean, but just it's not my favorite. I especially don't like that whole no more, no more.
Yeah,
And they're just it's high. It's just kind of takes away from the whole thing to me. That's
yeah.
the part that I'm surprised nobody in the book actually mentioned that part. But um, and then it's actually I kind of made a note too. That one's over 5 minutes too. So
It does not need to be. There's
no,
nothing. There's
absolutely not.
that's not a 5 minute song.
No,
And this is this is the type of thing. Now this is mentioned. Someone does bring this up in the book. This is where, for the most part, Night Ranger do a pretty good job because these are all self-produced albums, and sometimes that doesn't work because you're too close to the material. You don't have an objective ear.
yeah,
But they're good sounding albums, and for the most part, they're really strong songs. But I think this is the type of song where a producer, not someone in the band, would sit back and said, "Okay, guys, that was fun. Let's get back to being Night Ranger."
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, a band can do whatever they want. It's just they're so good at what they do and what they're best at that when they drop down and do a song like this is something that any rock band could do. And
Yeah, I'm. Some of them in the band must like doing this because they've done
yeah,
it a
no,
couple
they're there.
times.
I mean, we know, from lyrical references, we know Jack loves the Stones.
Yeah,
So, and that's what I get out of that's what this reminds me like a Stonesy kind of honky, like it's
yeah,
a
no,
honky
absolutely.
tonk thing, and
Honky tonk.
that's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. But night for the most part, when Night Ranger are firing all cylinders, it's so much better than fine.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
so next up, we got a fast one. Say what you want. What do you think of this one?
Um, yeah, no, it's a rocker. I mean, just that riff it just grabs you, right? I think there's great use of piano in there too.
Yeah, yeah.
On there. Then the guitar build up after that second chorus into the bridge is just that got me right there. So yeah, no, I really like this song.
Yeah, it's a good pick me up after the last one, and it sounds like heavy Night Ranger, but like it's upbeat and positive, and um, it's got a little bit of aggression in it, but not too much. Because if it had too much, it would start to remind me of Hole in the Sun, and I don't want to be reminded of that album.
Yeah.
um, but anyway, next up is interesting. Song called "We Can Work It Out," and I say this in the book. It's pretty gutsy of them to take such a well-known title that's usually tied to one song and make a
Right.
song out of it. I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. That's
Yeah.
they've definitely done better ballads than
Oh
this.
yeah, it wouldn't I wouldn't put it, anywhere close to the top 20 of their best ballads. But that's the thing.
No,
When
no,
you've given such a catalog that's so full of just amazingly good songs, something that's just okay seems to sink farther down. I don't know why.
yeah, I don't know the vocal layering with at the beginning kind of it sounds a little whiny to me on there. Them together at the beginning part, it's better in the chorus, but
Yeah, it's
uh,
fuller in the chorus, you're right. Now maybe
yeah,
you know what? This might have been something that this might have worked better as say like a Shaw Blades song than a Night
yes,
Ranger song.
absolutely. That's yeah, definitely reminds me of that. Best part to me is the acoustic solo. I do like,
It's a great, yeah, it's really good.
yeah.
Um, next up is another fast one, another heavier one. Comfort Me. What do you think of this one?
This is definitely like a top 2 or 3 song. This
Yeah.
song is this is a cool riff to start. I mean, it's a perfect tempo for them. Um, and the guitar work there at the end from the two just is incredible. I mean, this is just I know that actually reading the book there, that people are talking about a couple of different meanings of comfort me and that within
Yeah,
there.
nobody would come right out and say, "What are you talking about?"
I can get I get it, if
Yeah,
that's what we're
yeah,
talking about. I get it, but either way, it's a really good song, really good Night Ranger song.
yeah. I like it too. It's just it's just solid. See, to me, this album, there aren't, except maybe for the first couple of songs. To me, there aren't songs that rise so far above the way that a lot of the songs from High Road and Somewhere in California do. But it's a good, solid album, and I'm just so glad that they've kept writing, they've kept making new
Yeah,
material,
no,
even
I
just to
think
put it out
it's
for the diehard fans. It's just it just I really like that because so many bands have just stopped.
right. I think on the last 4 albums, to me, this one's probably the most consistent, like front to back, with the songs on there. I mean, there's some higher songs on some of the other albums, but I think just front to back, this is very consistent.
Yeah, it's not a peaks and valleys album.
No, lose you there, Tim.
Very typical Night Ranger sounding song, I think.
Yep.
Harmonies and everything.
Oh yeah, and then the whammy use from Brad too in the
Yeah.
song is just great.
And then the final song on the album, Nothing Left of Yesterday. This is pretty typical of the guys in Night Ranger. One of the things I love about them is that it's positive, right? Although I do think it's funny that there's a song called Nothing Left of Yesterday, and then on the next album, the last song is called Tomorrow.
Right.
Uh, but it's they're really good at this type of song.
Yeah, I love the way that it builds up into the chorus there and gets a little heavier there. But yeah, definitely the better of the 2 ballads on the album for sure.
I
Um,
agree. I agree. I just don't think there's no killer ballad on this album. That's what
no,
this album doesn't have. It doesn't
yep.
have a Time of Our Lives or like it doesn't have a can't miss ballad on it. They're just good songs.
And then there's no like Kelly vocal ballad too, and so it's kind
Yeah,
of
that's an interesting. Yeah, Kelly vocals seem to be getting less and less on these latter day albums,
yes,
but
they do.
yeah, but look, all of these Night Ranger albums are worth picking up. Even Hole in the Sun has its moments. It's just that
Oh yeah, no,
um,
absolutely. If you don't have this one, you definitely need to get it.
yeah. Now this is the only version of this I've ever seen.
Yeah,
They've all got
I haven't seen any others.
they've
No,
all got the DVD with them, and the DVD's got a couple of videos on it and some interviews and
I think there might be a Japanese one that's a little bit different than this.
but I don't think there's any extra songs.
No, yeah,
You know,
it's
I mean, like the
just
last two
there's
albums
no
had a
extra
couple of
songs.
extra songs on them, so which is kind of unique. So, Brian, thank you for doing this. I want to talk about another band that we very much have in common is
Yes.
Y&T. And you are the curator of a very cool Facebook page that any Y&T fan needs to check out, the Y&T Vinyl Reference, where
Yeah.
Brian posts Y&T albums from all over the world. And we were talking before we started filming tonight. You're only missing a handful of like foreign pressings of albums, right?
Yeah, I think I'm down to 9 now. Foreign pressings that I'm missing. So I do have, I believe, pictures that I've been able to get off the internet, Discogs or something like that, on the vinyl reference page of all the albums. But otherwise, I've scanned in all of them from my collection into there, so they're much better, quality pictures and that of there. So, um, I'm a big Kiss fan too, as you can see in the
Yeah.
background. So collecting, Kiss, can't collect Kiss around the world. I can never
Oh
do that.
my. Yeah.
before I die. So
Y&T is a much
yes,
more reasonable,
manageable. Yes,
manageable. Yeah. When I
yes.
started, I said I wanted to get at least one copy of all their singles. There aren't that many. So you can do,
No,
I mean,
yeah,
there's a lot of variants, but if you want to get every song they released as a single, you should be able to do
yeah.
that.
No, I've done that. I've got I'm missing three 7 inch across the world, and two of them are South Africa, which are
Okay.
incredibly hard to find.
I don't have either of those, and I also don't. There's a Japanese one from. Is it 25 hours a day? There's a Japanese single. Maybe it's Earthshaker, the song Earthshaker.
I got that Earthshaker one.
Yeah,
Yes, that
that
was
never comes up for sale.
no. It finally did, and it was not cheap,
Yeah,
but I did snag that one finally.
yeah.
So, but yeah, so I did the 7 inch the singles as well as the full LP on the page there. So if you're Y&T fan and you're looking to collect or just want to see what they kind of look like, I try to include the inner sleeves, any of the extras I included, especially the Japanese, 4 page booklets that come usually
Booklets, yeah.
with those. Yeah. So all that's scanned and on the page as well.
I'll have a link to that below, folks. And I know that we got, I know a lot of diehard Night Ranger fans are very much into Y&T as well. So, all right. So, yeah, Brian, thanks for doing this, and thank you for contributing to Sing Me Away, the Night Ranger
Thank you,
album
Tim.
review. Thanks.
It's an awesome book.
Thank
Go
you.
get it.
I'll have a link to that posted below too, folks. And yeah, we've got one more studio album to talk about. That's coming up, and some other cool stuff too. So we'll see you later. Uh, thanks for watching this edition of Tim's Vinyl Confessions. Go get Don't Let Up and give it a listen.